So God forbid something were to actually happen over there. How would he handle that? You're telling me if, God forbid, knock on wood, another terrorist attack strikes New York. Once again, knock on wood, God forbid. But if something like that happened in New York City again, what? You're going to get on television and blame Trump? You're going to get on television and find some way to throw Trump's name into it and make it his fault and talk about how his dangerous rhetoric caused this terrorist attack to occur? What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to head on over to New Jersey. Why is that? Because something significant occurred in New Jersey today. As you can see here, breaking news. New Jersey election day bomb threats shut down polling sites in 7 key counties with governor's race in a dead heat. This is very significant because, this is a tight race, as quiet as it's kept and contrary to what some people would like to believe. And that this is a tight race and that it was going to be a tight race when 2 days ago they sent Barack Obama out to New Jersey to campaign for Mikie Sherrill, right? That's how you knew that this is going to be a very close race and things aren't going the way that they would hope it would go as it pertains to just ease of winning, right? It's not just a breeze like they thought it would be. So now here we are with this bomb threat that shut down 3, or I should say 7 key counties temporarily, right? And of course, this news gets over to Zoran Mamdani. With him being running from New York, they're right next to each other. They ask Mamdani, what do you think about the bomb threat that occurred in New Jersey today on election day? Are you concerned about these kind of things happening here in New York with such a crucial mayoral race happening today? And what do you think Mamdani said? Better yet, I got a better question for you. Who do you think Mamdani blamed for the bomb threats in New Jersey that shut down polling sites in 7 key counties? I think we all know the answer to that question. So let's get straight into it. Let's play his response. And then we'll get back into this article here to unpack a couple of things concerning what's going on in New Jersey. But check out Mamdani's response here.
Incredibly concerning. And I think that it is an illustration of the attacks we're seeing on our democracy. Sometimes they're blatant and explicit in the manner of these bomb threats. And we have to understand this as part of the general approach the Trump administration has taken to trying to intimidate voters with baseless allegations of voter fraud as a means of trying to repress the voice of Americans across this country.
I don't know if he's going to get that question again today, but the general approach the Trump administration has taken to try and intimidate voters, unless we heard him incorrectly, what in the world is he talking about?
That's my question too. What is this man talking about? It's amazing how these people can take anything negative going on in the world and can find some way to weave Trump into it and say either it's his fault directly or indirectly because of his rhetoric and his assault on the Constitution. And that's what's inspiring other nonsense that's happening in the world, so on and so forth. There is no reason for Trump's name to have been brought up at all. There was no reason to bring his name up. Obviously, he has nothing to do with what's going on in New Jersey. I don't even think I've heard him even speak on the New Jersey gubernatorial race over there. Yet bomb threats occur, which is very serious, and we don't want to hear stuff like that, but that happens. And you find a way to throw Trump's name into it. I just find that astonishing. And what it really goes to show is how unserious of a politician Mamdani is. He's very unserious, like most politicians, pretty much like all of them. He's only concerned with maintaining his own position of power, in this case here, elevating it, right, becoming mayor. I'm sure the next jump after that is to become governor, but elevating himself on the political totem pole to become mayor and fattening up his own pockets, right? And on the left these days, the number one and primary way of doing that is just being against Trump at all costs, right? Forget actual politics, forget real policies that could bring jobs into the city, make the city safer, things of that nature. No, I'm just running as someone who's going to be speaking out against Trump, very Jasmine Crockett-esque, over and over and over again, where I spend more time criticizing and demonizing Trump than I do worried about and making sure that my constituents are okay and that the lives of my constituents are better with me in charge, and that we've progressed and moved forward from where we once were prior to me getting into office. Forget all of that. That sounds too much like right. They don't care about that. I just want to demonize Trump. And when you demonize Trump over and over again, and when you're given the fact that these folks are just really appearing to their far left base, their deranged base that's on the far, far, far left, that brings in a lot of campaign dollars for them. And it brings in votes in the case of Zoran Mamdani, who looks like he most likely is going to be the next mayor of New York City, which is very unfortunate. But that's what this is all about, right? It's about power. It's about money. It's not about politics. Now, before we get back into this video clip here, what I want to do first is let's head back over to New Jersey, because I want to put the focus on New Jersey for a moment, just to update you guys on what actually happened there. Because once again, this is a very serious issue. This is a very serious thing that occurred, and we don't want to see stuff like this happening concerning bomb threats at polling stations, right? So let's jump into this article next. So as the title reads, New Jersey election New Jersey election day bomb threat shuts down polling sites in 7 key counties while governors race in dead heat. The article reads, several New Jersey polling sites have been closed and voting locations moved on election day following bomb threats in at least 7 counties, including heavily Republican areas, officials said. So there. So bomb threats occur in heavily Republican areas, and Mamdani's finding a way to blame Trump. Okay, all right, that makes all the sense in the world. Just goes to show you how unserious Mamdani is. But okay, law enforcement agencies were tipped off about threats made to polling locations across Bergen, Essex, Mercer, Middlesex, Monmouth, Ocean, and Passaic counties Tuesday morning, according to the state office of the Attorney General. And I quote, law enforcement officers have responded at each affected polling place, and they have worked swiftly to secure these polling locations and ensure the safety of every voter, the AG's office said in a statement. The article continues to read, some of these polling locations have already reopened to the public. At others, voters will be directed to a nearby polling location to cast their ballot, the office added. Officials noted that the threats made against the polling sites were not credible. The bomb threats come in the middle of a knife-edge governor's race, with U.S. Representative Mikie Sherrill in a dead heat with Republican businessman and former state legislator Jack Ciattarelli. As of Tuesday morning, many of the impacted voting locations have been reopened, including all in Bergen, the state's most populous county. So we get the gist of what's going on there. And I think people need to understand how significant that this is too. Because I'll just share a quick story with you guys very quickly. Before I left the house and came to the office, as you guys know, the special election is happening here in California. I'm located here in Los Angeles, where we are going to be voting on Prop 50. I'm going to go vote, obviously, against Prop 50 once I leave the office today. But I reminded my wife before she left the house to go to work, and I said, hey, don't forget, you're going to go to vote against Prop 50, right? And I was informing her on where our polling station is, like where you need to go in case you forgot where we went when we voted for president, right, in 2024. So my point is when I reminded her, because she was frantically getting ready to go to work, she goes, oh, that's right. Oh, well, what time did they open, or what time did they close? Because she's going to work. Oh, well, they close at 8:00. Oh, okay. I get off at work at this time, and I'll be able to go over there. And the point is without having to over-explain it, listen, we all have lives outside of voting. People got to go to work. We got to pick our kids up from school. We got stuff going on. Kids got practice. We have things going on. People don't have time for bomb threats. So if you think that this doesn't have a negative impact, despite the fact that polling reopens, for some people, at the time that they go to that polling station is the only time that they have, because maybe they're going there prior to work or maybe after work. In this case, since this happened early in the morning, you had many people who are probably going there prior to work because they were not going to have a chance to go after work. and they weren't able to vote because of this. And funny enough, it appears that Republican counties were targeted. Yet you have somebody like Zoran Mamdani talking about this has something to do with Donald Trump and his rhetoric. Okay, buddy. Sounds really stupid, but once again, it goes to show how unserious Zoran Mamdani is as a politician. So now what I want to do is let's get back into the Fox News video clip where they elaborated a little bit more on the nonsense of Zoran Mamdani and him blaming this bomb threat in New Jersey on Donald Trump.
He is serving up a Kamala-sized word salad, but he's using kale instead of romaine. It's just a slightly better finessed verbiage than we were given with her. This is emptiness. It means nothing. What he's doing is deflecting because he doesn't have an answer for this, because he is not prepared if, God forbid, something like 9/11 happens again. Just think about that. Were you in New York on 9/11? Do you remember what happened to the city? Do you remember what happened to this country? Do you remember who was mayor and what was needed from that office? Could this person really provide that? I mean, it scares the hell out of me. I hope everyone has a plan with their kids if, God forbid, something happens.
Got it.
Is that not the point that I made in my last Zoran Mamdani video? Let me know in the comment section below if you actually watched it and you remember that. Is that not the same exact point that I made concerning acts of terror happening in New York City with someone like Mamdani, who's let's call it straight, he's a terrorist sympathizer, right? He's a Hamas sympathizer, all right? You know, the globalized Intifada sympathizer. So God forbid something were to actually happen over there. How would he handle that? You're telling me if, God forbid, knock on wood, another terrorist attack strikes New York. Once again, knock on wood, God forbid. But if something like that happened in New York City again, what? You're going to get on television and blame Trump? You're going to get on television and find some way to throw Trump's name into it and make it his fault and talk about how his dangerous rhetoric caused this terrorist attack to occur? No, it would simply be on his watch. And remember that she made the point, I'm going to say it again, and then we're going to get out of here because I wasn't planning on making this video too long. That man, Zoran Mamdani, is 1000% a Hamas sympathizer, a terrorist sympathizer, globalized the Intifada. He refuses to denounce that. You guys in New York are going to be in some serious trouble if you elect that man as mayor of New York City. And if you do elect him as mayor of New York City, I don't like him, but I hope he's successful, because unlike DNC lunatics, I'm not wishing for anyone's downfall or for them to be unsuccessful, because then that would mean that people of New York would be unsuccessful in their daily living and things of that nature, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how this mayoral race plays out in New York City. Hopefully, you know, Mamdani doesn't win. In my opinion, he most likely will. And if he does, pray for New York. Yeah. Pray for New York City. With all that being said, that does it for today's news. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And please do not forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.